Chapter 1. The Angel. When the pills kicked in, the taste of coffee was on her tongue again. Bittersweet, like that night in Alexander's room. Shivering 70 miles from home, Karen Price pulled the covers to her eyes as the Baltimore street sound slowly faded into a deathly sweet silence. From the balcony, she was watching Alexander West woo Susan Hayward in A Night to Remember when the ear-piercing blast of a trumpet filled the abandoned theater. A magnificent angel, clothed in light, pulsated onto the screen. He lifted an immense flaming sword. Your son is a mighty man of valor. His heart is pure. Lives are touched wherever he goes. And when you are old, Karen, he will bring you comfort beside the sea. Early the next morning, she called her mother. Please, let me come home. I can't do this. You listen to me, Karen Isabel. You will not disgrace your father's memory and bring that rapist child into the world. Haven't we had enough heartache already? Think, Karen, for pity's sake. You've got your whole life ahead of you. Go see Richard. That's all you have to do, okay? Then we can be a family again. You know that's what we all want, isn't it? So we can finally put this awful, horrible nightmare behind us once and for all. But Mother, he's all I have left. Even when Karen was 13, the folks at Skip's truck stop swore she was Daddy's girlfriend. Mother didn't like that he was gone all week. But every Friday night, Ellen Price put on her lipstick and a rouge for the king. Friday was fancy up time and off to the steakhouse on East Prospect. Big Tom liked to flash his pool cue. Karen and Diane liked sneaking sips from his monogram Stein. Then the late show at the Rialto, where Alexander West's British charm never failed to make the girls swoon. By midnight, Big Tom and Ellen, eyes aglow, were renewing their vows. The girls were giggling in their room across the hall. Alexander West came to Oxford High in the summer of 1947, right before Karen's senior year. He conducted a drama workshop, gave acting lessons, and directed Double Door, a melodrama. She was perfect, he said, as the unsullied Anne Darrow locked in that creepy old dungeon until her beloved Rip Van Brett finally found the gumption and stood up to his wicked older sister Victoria, grabbing her arm and shaking his fist exactly like Alexander showed him. Rip demanded her release. Could it be any finer? If only Mr. West could stay a little longer, the girls at the Sunday night cast party sighed. Daddy was already halfway to Indy. 12 o'clock, Mother insisted. Not one lousy stinking minute later. The sound of Alexander's voice cooing in her brain. Karen wanted another hour at least. But you didn't cross Mother. At 20 to 12, he offered her a ride, and maybe, just maybe, the slender redhead's heart raced as Mr. West opened the silver Bentley door for her. You're so very gifted, precious love. I only wish my time in Pennsylvania were a little longer. But I do have a little keepsake I'd very much like to give you. He pulled into the motel lot. She followed him to his suite and sipped coffee while he read her a poem about Ares and Aphrodite. What time is it? She yawned, and her eyelids trembled as the ceiling spun, shook, and shrunk. Are you all right, my love? The room was dark, her feet sweaty, and her palms tingling as his icy hands removed her shoes. Violins played softly as he tugged on her nylons. His cologne filled her lungs, and his lips bore down on hers as her reason faded. The pillow was cold. It hurt, but she couldn't cry. You are so divine, he said, As she pulled her nylons back on, he dropped her off at 1 o'clock. I shall write you my love. Just where the hell have you been, Karen? She could barely feel the sting of Mother's hand across her cheek. I'm sorry. You've been drinking, haven't you? School started again. The normalcy was welcome, even if Karen didn't want to be a cheerleader anymore. She couldn't stand the phony she beat out for captain, she told her mother. But Diane, a sophomore squad member, knew that this wasn't the reason. All semblance of tranquility ended when the morning sickness began. The doctor said she was 2.5 months along. After that, it was pure hell. Daddy demanded answers. Karen threatened to kill herself. They strapped her to a bed in the hospital. Frightened and confused, Diane told him what happened to Karen after the cast party. Big Tom sped up to Boston, where West was doing a one-man show. He cornered him in his hotel room. The actor pulled out a pistol, but Big Tom plunged a dagger into his throat. A security officer burst in and shot Tom Price. It's all my fault. Mother hates me. Karen thought she'd be in the hospital forever, but Ellen brought her home and held her hand. Poor baby, my poor baby. She handed her 11 20s and 2 sleeping pills and put her on a Greyhound bus late Monday afternoon. The little black boy smiled at her. Finally, she smiled back. He walked over and sat down next to her. He laid his head against her side. A handsome young man followed. Ma'am, I'm sorry. He's a big flirt. He's a cutie. His name's Kenny, and mine's Michael. I'm his dad. And you are? Karen. Where you headed, Karen? Michael asked. To Baltimore. I've got a cousin just moved down from Jersey. Michael told her he lived in Baltimore with his grandmother. His parents died young. Alcohol. Kenny's mother died too, right after he was born, just 17. But his grandmother was righteous. She was anointed. She taught him and his sister the Bible and the piano. He gave her his phone number when they reached the station. Kenny wanted a kiss, and he got his wish. She waved goodbye and threw away the phone number. It was $2.50 for her room at the YWCA. 2 powdered donuts graced the nightstand with a carton of milk and an old radio. A picture on the wall of Jesus wearing a crown of thorns stared at her. Her head hurt, and it was cold. She swallowed both pills, still mad at them for being so mad at her, like she was the worst person in the whole world, the worst that ever lived. Then she dreamed about the movie theater and that dazzling angel with the flaming sword. In the morning, Ellen shoveled heaps and heaps of hellish guilt all over her frightened daughter, more than enough to send her the 2 short blocks to Richard's apartment. He listened sympathetically. He nodded his head. Yes, she was doing the right thing, brave girl. Everything would be all right. He was a doctor. It was simple. It wouldn't hurt at all. And she'd be home the next afternoon. Best of all, he reassured her, when she was older and the time was right, she'd be able to have children, just as many as she wanted, not forced to have them before she was ready, not now when her life held so much promise. How could that man do such a thing? Karen told him about the angel and what he'd said to her. Dreams can mean a lot of things, Richard explained, having been warned by her mother, that brave and heroic woman, with the courage and compassion to guide her daughter into making the only sensible decision. It really was a simple procedure, a painless injection, safe, sanitary, and the right thing for all concerned. She gave him 10 20s. He handed her a surgical gown and left the room. As she pulled off her skirt and started putting on the blue smock, she felt her baby move inside her. She threw her clothes back on and bolted for the door. Richard was washing his hands while his voluptuous nurse fiddled with some plastic tubing. "Karen, wait, where are you going?" Faster now. Arms pumping all the way, she locked herself in her room and lay in the tub for 2 hours with both hands on her belly. Where would she go now? And what would she say? Chapter 2. A Child is Born. Evelyn Tyler knew Karen needed help. The diminutive desk clerk crushed her cigarette and held the frantic teen. "I had me a little girl 30 years back, sweetie. I was 16. Had to give her up. Mama didn't think we could give her a good home, and that was that. I never saw her again, but I sure thought about her. Still do. Probably always will. What are you, sweetie, a Catholic or a Protestant?" It had been years. Daddy said they were all hypocrites. "Protestant." Evelyn made a call. She heated a can of tomato soup and cooked a grilled cheese sandwich on the little stove behind her desk. Karen took tiny nibbles. At 64, Jonathan March was gentle-eyed, muscular, and a good listener. Karen blamed herself for her father's death. She hated him for killing Alexander, she said. Or was it for always being gone when she needed him? She cried and cried. He listened, and Evelyn held her. They had a home for unwed mothers, he said. But Mother would never go for that, she said. He said he'd go with her and tell her mother that she loved her baby and she could never hurt him. She'll understand, Karen. Maybe not right away, but in time she will. Karen shivered. "Will you really go with me?" "Of course I will. We can leave in an hour." He prayed for her before he left. It was short, sweet, and comforting. Soon he was back with his wife. Lulu had a munchkin laugh that made the ride go quicker, but all the doors were locked at the house, so they sat in a diner and called every 20 minutes. Finally, around 5:30, Ellen answered. "I'll be home in just a few minutes, Mother. I got a ride." "So everything's okay?" How did she always know? The Marches walked her up the steps, but Ellen just shut the door on them. She grabbed Karen's arm and stared at her. "You did what I told you to do, didn't you?" "I saw him, Mother, but I couldn't do it." "Just as I thought. What is wrong with you?" Pastor March pounded on the door. She opened it a crack. "You forgot your bag, honey," he said. "May we come in, please?" Ellen's jaw tightened. "This is a private matter, sir." "But Karen called us. You know she already loves the tiny child that's living inside her. How could she let anyone hurt him?" "She's just like you, Mrs. Price. You wouldn't want anyone to hurt your Karen because you're her mother and you love her." "Well, isn't that noble?" Ellen said. "Did she tell you that my husband is dead on account of this child of hers?" Lulu spoke up. "Mrs. Price, I can only imagine how torn up you must feel losing your husband like that. I don't have any words to make it go away. All I can offer you is hope. You don't have to take this on all by yourself." Ellen grabbed the purse. "I know you mean well, ma'am, but right now you need to mind your own business. That's what you need to do. Go to your room, Karen. Wait for me there." Karen heard the front door slam a minute later. When the car pulled away, she locked her door. "Let me in, Karen," her mother said several times. Diane began to plead with her. "And just what do you know about all this, Missy?" "Nothing, Mommy. I don't know nothing." "Don't you lie to me." Ellen smacked her. Karen burst out. "Leave her alone." Well, the little queen returns. "Where's my money, Karen?" "I don't have it." "You don't have it? Just where in hell's name is it?" "I gave it to Richard." "You're a liar." She slapped Karen hard. Trembling, her lower lip swelling, Karen sucked in the air. She clenched her right fist as her shoulders twitched and her calves tightened. Pivoting, she punched her mother in the mouth with every ounce of strength she could muster. She grabbed Diane's hand and ran out the front door as a bleeding Ellen screamed, "I'll tan your hide, girl. You get back here right now." Blood oozed from Karen's hand. Diane was sobbing. Porch lights were turning on one by one as Ellen screamed threats and curses from the front stoop. As the girls stumbled to the sidewalk, a car pulled up. "Get in," Jonathan March said. "We were afraid something like this might happen," Lulu said. She pulled her scarf off and wrapped it around Karen's hand. "This is nasty, honey. What happened?" "I'm okay," Karen said. "We'd better get that dressed," Pastor March said. He pulled onto the highway. At the emergency room, Karen got a tetanus shot and 7 stitches. Pastor March gave them $14. Back at the diner, a chubby young policeman rushed to the table. He said the girls had been reported missing and their mother was worried sick. Pastor March flashed his chaplain's badge. He suggested that the officer call Ellen, see if she wants to talk to someone. Ellen asked for Karen. She begged her to come back. She was sorry, she said. She'd try to change. "What about my baby?" "There's still time to decide." "I've already decided, Mother. Why can't you just accept that?" "I'm trying to, Karen," Ellen said. "Believe me, I'm trying, baby. I just need a little more time." A couple drinks had calmed her down. She wasn't yelling now. She wasn't mad, just worried about them, she said. Karen said she'd come back, but only if you talked to Pastor March. Ellen was sitting on the couch with a fat lip when they arrived. Lulu held her hand. After a little sympathy, Ellen pooh-poohed the home for unwed mothers because the Prices always took care of their own problems, and she'd find a way, even though Big Tom didn't believe in life insurance. It was almost midnight when the Marches left. Ellen and Diane were asleep on the couch, her hand throbbing. Karen stared at the ceiling and thought about her baby, a wonderful boy, sent from God, a true man of valor, just like the angel promised. Thanksgiving was dreary after the library told Ellen they didn't need her anymore. Lulu called every week. Even Ellen looked forward to her calls. Karen and Diane started going to a Methodist church at the end of the block. Ellen wanted to go too, but something always came up Sunday morning. Christmas wasn't Christmas, not on welfare without Daddy. But Karen was happy. Even when the kids at school were malicious, Karen didn't mind much. Even when Ellen drank too much and whined that Karen could have saved them all a whole lot of embarrassment. "I'm not embarrassed," Karen said. "You think it's all fun and games being a mother, do you? You wait. You'll see." Ellen hated setting the thermostat at 55, but they couldn't pay the electric bill. When the church helped out, she got so plastered Karen had to lock her door. But things calmed down the next day like they always did. Lulu invited the girls for a weekend. They rode the Greyhound on a Saturday afternoon in February and met Jonathan and Lulu's 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren at the terminal. Little Stanley was 6 months old. After dinner, they saw Loretta Young in The Farmer's Daughter. Lulu made sure the girls called home when she served cookies and ice cream. They told Ellen they loved her. Lulu told her what fine girls she had raised. Breakfast was superb, and Lulu wouldn't let them wash dishes. About 150 people came to church. Diane and Karen were in the nursery with little Stanley. There were boy babies, girl babies, white, black, Mexican, and a tiny Japanese girl. Karen, her stomach aflutter again, skipped out. When she returned, she saw a familiar face. "It's my birthday, Karen. I'm 3, said the little boy she'd met on the bus. He stuck close the whole hour, and Stanley fell asleep in her arms. One of the mothers asked Karen when she was due. May, she answered. Is your husband here today? I'm not married. Oh, I'm sorry. It sure got quiet till Kenny started banging a little plastic piano and singing, "Oh, when the saints go marching in." Church was over. Karen was skittish about seeing Michael again. She heard a woman's melodic voice. "Kenny, have you been a good boy?" She was 6 feet tall at least, in an elegant long red dress with frizzy gray hair, pearls, rings, a fancy watch, and bracelets on both wrists. Kenny nodded like a woodpecker. "Oh, yes, Gigi. I've been very, very good, huh, Karen?" "He sure has," Karen said. "He's a fine fellow." "Did you sing for the lovely ladies?" the stately woman asked. Kenny smiled. "Oh, yes, Gigi, and play piano, too." "And so very well," Karen said. The woman held out her hand. Karen clasped it gingerly. "Bernadette Paver, dear," she said. "Thank you for taking such fine care of my great-grandson." "You're very welcome, Mrs. Paver. I'm Karen Price, and this is my sister, Diane." She was telling Bernadette how they'd met on the bus when Michael sauntered in. Kenny, how did I know you'd be making time with the pretty ladies?" He began to introduce himself. He didn't recognize Karen until their eyes met. "Well, now, isn't this amazing?" he said. "We rode on the bus with this gal when we were coming back from Philly. Her and Kenny's got a serious thing going on." Karen introduced Diane. "Karen told me about meeting you." "Well, we're mighty glad you could join us," Michael said. "Are you visiting your cousin?" Diane looked puzzled. We're staying with the Marches," Karen said. "Perhaps you can join us for lunch," Bernadette said. "Oh, do come along," Michael said. "Grandma's cooking is the ultimate finest." "Please," Kenny said. Over an ice cream cake with 3 candles, Kenny asked, "Karen, are you having a baby?" Bernadette tried to shush him, but Karen was relieved. "Yes, Kenny, I am. God has blessed me." After a gentle silence, Bernadette brought out her photo albums. They sat in the living room sipping iced tea. Kenny fell asleep on Karen's lap. Diane played rummy with Michael's sister Janice, who was also 15 and tall, like her grandmother. Michael's piano playing was smooth and romantic. They got back to Oxford around 10. Ellen served cake and ice cream, tea and coffee, as pleasant sounds came from the Victrola. She wanted to know all about the weekend. The Marches stayed for nearly an hour. Ellen held her daughters and kissed them before she turned in. Michael called the next night. Ellen was pleased that a man might be interested in her daughter, even if he'd been married and was raising a son. Karen didn't mention his color. Why upset her? In April, they drove down to Baltimore. The old Ford overheated. They were late, so they sat in back. Michael, Bernadette, and Janice were near the front. A Mexican man with a tambourine led the congregational singing. They stood a long time. They clapped and clapped till their hands were raw. Everyone hushed as Jonathan March talked about Jesus, why he died on the cross, and how God loved every person in every situation, no matter what they did or what they were going through. He invited anyone who wanted prayer to come forward. Ellen was swallowing hard and holding back tears. Karen took her hand. They stumbled to the front of the church together, Diane too. Lulu prayed for Ellen. She hugged her for a long time. Jonathan prayed for Karen first, and then Diane. Bernadette was singing Just As I Am with Michael on piano. Bernadette stepped down from the podium. "Is this your mama, honey?" "Yes, it is," Karen said. A look of shock came on Ellen's face when Bernadette introduced herself, Michael, and Janice, who was holding Kenny. You all are joining us for lunch, Bernadette said. All right, Ellen said, thank you, but I'm afraid we can't stay very long. The Marches came to. Ellen told Lulu the story of her life. On the back porch, Karen told Michael about Alexander West and her father and why she was on the Greyhound that day. He held her hand. He had such beautiful eyes. Kenny came out and asked, "Are you and Daddy getting married?" "I don't know," Karen said. "He hasn't asked me." Kenny nodded. "He knows I need a mommy." Later, Michael said, "I'm in love with you, Karen. I'll do anything for you." Ellen made her promise to finish school. Jonathan handled the ceremony, just two families, on the 1st of May. Monday morning, Karen was back at school. Michael worked all the hours he could, but on the weekend, they were together. Michael rode to Oxford with Jonathan and Lulu when Karen went into labor. They named the baby Tristan Israel. After graduation, Karen and the baby moved into Bernadette's house on Connor Road. Karen helped Bernadette and Janice with the laundry they took in. Michael painted houses and tarred roofs. Late evenings, he played piano with his group. Upright bass, drums, sax, and guitar. All seasoned musicians. Kenny started jamming when he was 10 and passed on what he learned to his little brother. Tris was barely 7 when the piano became his second language. It was around the same time Karen finished nursing school and took a job at Johns Hopkins. Bernadette believed God gave everyone a special gift with a purpose. No one in the household had the least doubt about that. Every day without fail, she read to the boys from her old King James Bible. One December morning in 1956, she didn't wake up. At the funeral, Kenny told his parents, "I'll never smoke, drink, or use drugs, and I'm keeping myself pure for marriage." Tristan told Kenny that night he wouldn't smoke, drink, or do drugs either. "And I'll keep myself pure," he said, after Kenny explained what that meant. After Karen enrolled at the Philadelphia College of Osteopathic Medicine, the Pavers moved to Philadelphia. Janice and her husband Hank Murphy and their son Peter moved into the house on Connor Road. One of Karen's instructors had a brother who was retiring. Dr. James Powell wanted someone he could personally train to care for his patients. Karen, Michael, and the boys drove to Silersville, a small rural community in Pennsylvania, the Saturday before her graduation. Doc Powell knew it the minute they stepped out of the car. He eased Karen into the day-to-day operations until he was sure she was ready to take it over. He continued to consult and visit even after he retired. Karen delivered over 100 babies that first year. Michael was befriended by Charlie Runninger, a disciple of legendary jazz guitarist Wes Montgomery. Kenny was 14 and Tristan just 11 when Charlie took them under his wing. When Charlie moved back to Indianapolis in 1961, Kenny took his seat in the band. It troubled Michael that all the local clubs served liquor, but didn't they just love his music? The newspaper said his voice was like silk swaying in the summer breeze. Michael developed a soundtrack for a film about Henry Armstrong, the champion prizefighter who overcame alcoholism and became an evangelist. Homicide Hank had only a short run, but You're the Only One, featuring Michael singing and playing the piano along with Kenny's brilliant guitar, was nominated for Best Song by the Motion Picture Academy in 1963.
Sweet Jesus, you're the only one who satisfy my soul.
It didn't win the Oscar, but the attention it generated was nothing short of spectacular, leading to bigger and better venues. A tour was arranged for Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Indianapolis, the summer after Kenny's junior year. Over his parents' objections, Kenny quit school to tour with his father. The band was wowing Syracuse when Kenny's draft notice arrived in the mail. He joined the Army Medical Corps and was sent to Vietnam in the fall of 1965. Tristan did a few local jobs after Kenny left, but Karen wouldn't let him tour with Michael. After graduating first in his class, he received a full scholarship to play baseball at Lyons University in Cross, a small town 30 miles south of Silersville. Nearing the completion of his military service, Kenny stayed busy writing new songs and making his guitar talk. His letters home were fairly bursting with stories of God's faithfulness. Chapter 3, Girl Meets Boy. You could feel the intense anger all over the Lyons U campus back in the fall of 1968. After all, it was obvious to the students the U.S. government had sold them out, sending them off to fight and die in their illegal, immoral war. The talk of a sit-in went on for weeks before that all-day concert on October 31st. On this night, according to the Cross County Sentinel, 2,000 people holed up in the Student Union building and refused to leave. Catherine Solomon and Candace Shoup, two of the Allegheny dorm's finest, showed up around 9:45. Drool was scheduled to go on at 10, but Candy's boyfriend Roger Haynes, the band's 41-year-old lead singer and bass player, told them folk singer Phil Oakes might be arriving any minute. A guy from Chicago named Billy grabbed the microphone to loud applause at 9:55 and read a message from Abby Hoffman exhorting the crowd to seize the freedom the Founding Fathers fought so hard to give them so many years ago. Billy snatched an electric guitar. "Are you ready, people, to break free from this capitalist oppression?" he hollered. To a resounding chorus of cheers, he began to jump about. "Just wrote me a new song, sisters and brothers. Yeah, while I was jamming with Brother Phil Oakes and Miss Judy Collins way down in D.C., right before them freaking pigs had one of their stupid little snits." He began to sing about justice, truth, and the violent overthrow of the military-industrial complex. He screamed, "If you don't stand for something, y'all, you'll fall for anything. And if you can't find something worth dying for, dude, your life ain't even worth living. And that is the God's honest truth." Offstage, Drool stared holes at Billy as he laid bare strategic initiatives from the Brain Trust, guaranteed to overthrow this immoral government that so rejoiced in human carnage. The crowd was shouting, "Right on! Power to the people! Go, man, go! Revolution! Freedom!" and things like that. Signs and banners were waving everywhere as representatives of YAF, Young Americans for Freedom, SDS, Students for a Democratic Society, and the Black Panther Party passed out leaflets and fished for young souls. The frenetic horde disdained the 11 o'clock announcement that the building was closing. Unprepared, all the SUB employees left. 2 campus cops locked all the doors and manned a single exit until midnight for any who desired to leave. Kathy and Candy had all but given up on seeing Drool. Roger, dressed as Uncle Sam, scowled and shook his head, flanked by Dracula on guitar, Einstein on keyboards, and the Grim Reaper on drums. Midnight passed, and the two sophomore roommates flopped down in a couple of easy chairs just outside the auditorium. At 4 a.m., Kathy nudges Candy. They scurry upstairs, where a man in army fatigues, guitar in hand, is singing "I'm Looking Through You" for about 50 people, most of them seated on the floor in the music room. "He sounds really good," Kathy whispers. They inch closer and closer until Roger, reeking of booze and tobacco, grabs Candy from behind. The musician sings "Girl," another of Kathy's favorite Beatle tunes. She walks toward him. Their eyes meet. It feels like the whole room is watching. She nestles about 6 feet away behind 3 couples and 2 unattached females. Near the walls, a few snooze under their coats. 2 caveman types are at each other's throat, disputing the legitimacy of Richard Nixon's candidacy. Undaunted, the intrepid musician plays on. Kathy is a tingle now. She senses that his music has taken hold of hearts before. He's rhythmic and melodic. His harmonious, peaceful vibe lifts the room. At 5 o'clock, he asks, "Requests?" Voices ring out. Kathy's hand shoots up. He looks her way. She implores her lips to move and barely squeezes. "America?" He smiles. "Oh, yes, one of my favorites." When she hears her name sung, "Kathy," I said, as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh. She longs to take him home, but she knows there are still songs to be sung. He plays each request, folk, rock, jazz, soul, calypso, like he rehearsed it. With a nod to the requester, he is still going strong at 6 a.m. when a ridiculously crabby cleaning crew tells everyone to leave at once. A man with a mop curses and whines about how spoiled and lazy today's kids are, not like when he was young. The man in the army fatigues wipes the dust off his guitar and puts it away. He walks up to the blonde with a racing heart and a mouthful of sawdust. "Where are you headed?" he asks. She takes a deep breath. "Can you join me for breakfast?" She nods. "I'm Tris." "Kathy." She takes his hand. Strolling with him and his instrument, she still hears music. Does it ever stop? Off campus at Pop's Deli over bagels, he looks into her eyes, chews and smiles. She smiles back. Lost in the bakery smells, she gently sips her hot chocolate. Beyond tired, she doesn't want this night to end. "Kathy?" She awakens from her trance. "Yes, Tris." "This is Frog." His red hair is like Brillo. He sports Buddy Holly glasses, and he's clad entirely in green. "Well, hey there, Kathy." The hand goes out. "This is indeed a thrill for me, anyway." She giggles. "Would you like to join us?" "Why, yes, I certainly would, Kathy, even at the hips perchance, but fate hath conspired against us. Oh, booey-hooey, a most wretched poli-sci examination. Oh, dad-nab it all. Tragic beyond mere words, is it not? Why, when I gazed through yon window and sawest thou sitting there with mine esteemed compadre, well, thou surely knowest." Smiling sheepishly, he pats his chest to indicate the pitter-patter there. "It is indeed tragic," Tris says. "Yes, surely it is, and to think it all hearkeneth back to my untimely toilet training. On top of that sheer and utter debacle, would you believe I was breastfed from falsies? Mismatched falsies, I dare say. How cruel is that? And now, alas, I must hastily depart. But, fairest Kathy, I shall gaze upon thee later, Lord willing." She nods. "And the crick don't rise." Frog blows her a kiss as Tris stands to give him a hug. Moments later, a tall, curvaceous, platinum blonde in a red miniskirt walks over. I'm heaven. He smiles. I'm Triss, and this is Kathy. She leans on the table. I heard you singing last night. You're really great. Thank you. She hands him a note. Give me a call, okay? Let me know the next time you're playing somewhere. Okay, Triss? I sure will, Heaven. So you were in the army? She says. He shakes his head slowly. My brother was. Heaven sees the pain in his eyes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. He swallows hard. I still miss him. Heaven moves behind him and wraps an arm around his shoulders. I'm so sorry, Triss. Kathy, battling paralysis, kisses his hand and whispers, It's all right. Two women from the next table rush to Triss's side and lay their hands on him. One is bawling about her sister's boyfriend. He stepped on a landmine, and for what? I just don't get it. The restaurant manager nods contritely and lays down a basket of rolls and a coffee urn. Please, people, help yourself on the house, okay? Triss looks up and smiles. Thank you, Jerry. Everybody, I'm really sorry. Don't be sorry, Jerry says. You know you're always welcome here, my brother. Always. Okay? Kathy's still holding his hand after the others leave. He puts $1 on the table, pays at the cash register, and thanks Jerry again. Come back soon, okay, Triss? I will. Thanks again for everything. Thank you, Triss. They embrace. Jerry offers his hand to Kathy. Hope to see you again too, dear. Thank you, she says. Your bagels really are addictive. I think I'm hooked. He laughs. Come back, okay? I'll give you more. Triss opens the door for her. Along University Avenue, running on fumes, she asks him to play Catch the Wind. On the lawn, his singing thrills her heart again. Leaning against a tree, she begins to fade and crumble. He sits quietly beside her till the 9 o'clock chimes sound from the administration building. How long was I out? She asks. A few minutes. She wants to blow off her second period class, but he urges her to go. She worries as he escorts her to Allegheny Hall. Is this goodbye? Can you meet me for breakfast tomorrow? He asks as they reach the front door. You bet. She can barely conceal her ecstasy. 10? Perfect. Pops? Okay. He looks in her eyes and smiles again. It's been lovely. He takes her hand and kisses it, batting his eyelashes in a comical way. He giggles and bows. Totally charmed, she returns the giggle and eases into his gentle embrace. You sure are nice, he says. You are too, Triss. I'll see you tomorrow. Chapter 4, Honoring a Veteran. Kathy's Quandary. Dress or pants? Dress? No. Kathy's Catastrophe. Darn you. Brush-defying hair? Kathy's Desperate Solution. A last-minute shampoo and rinse in the sink. Candy leaves for the dining hall, muttering, Oh, this looks really serious, Catherine. Really, really serious. Blow-drying with her left hand, rubbing lotion on her face with her right, making those silly faces in the mirror her secret passion, sticking out the tongue, crinkling the nose, blinking, winking, grinning, scowling, pouting. She shakes her head and tosses that stubborn mane to and fro. Time to go, and it's another cruel one. Triss, guitar in hand, stands outside Pop's Deli with a teeny bopper. Hi, he says with that big smile. Good morning, Tris. Val's the name, the girl says, tensing her lips and shoulders. I'm Tristan's manager. We run a very professional outfit here, miss. Can I count on you to behave yourself? I'll try, Kathy says. Please see that you do, and we'll get along just fine. He hands her $1. Good work, Val. Really good. I'll talk to you later. Be good, Tristan, okay? I'll try, he says. Yeah, sure you will. She heads for the Baskin-Robbins. What was that all about? Kathy asks. She's one phenomenal little singer. He opens the door for her. Extremely precocious. With a great big crush on you. He flashes those puppy dog eyes. I have to buy her a lot of cones. They take a booth. It's really good to see you again, he says. It's good to see you too. Calm down, she tells herself. They order. I have a friend I want you to meet, he says, if you don't mind. Who? Harvey. He's a World War I vet. He lives around here? At Cross Mountain Manor. The nursing home? Yes. Their bagels and coffee arrive. Frog, clad once again entirely in green, marches in. Yo, Mr. Heartthrob, what's happening, my man? Oh, hello againy, Miss Kathy from Allegheny. I see you survived your exam, Tris says. A piece of cake for the old frogster. There just ain't no substitute for pure genius. He points his index finger at his head, flips his thumb down, and makes a popping sound. He sits, takes her hand, and kisses it ostentatiously. Charmed, darling, he says. You are so strange, she says. This woman's got you pegged, Tris says. Oh, absolutely, Tristan, and I cannot think of a single woman by whom I would rather be pegged, or even a married one for that matter. The waitress returns. What can I get you, Frogster? Cup of joe, and don't be slow. High test, right? Natch, Bev. So Tris, you sly fellow, we're all set for tonight, right? Tris nods. Frog stands dramatically. Ladies, gentlemen, and music lovers, our friend here, Tristan, Mr. Heartthrob Pulver, will be appearing at 8 o'clock tonight at the Well, 415 East Ridge Avenue, right here in historic Cross. His show is guaranteed to entertain, encourage, and enlighten. Mr. Heartthrob comes to us tonight, fresh from his command performance at the London Palladium, where he received a standing ovation. He sits down. You're coming too, aren't you, Kathy? Tonight? You didn't tell her, Tris? Surely you told her. Tris answers. I hadn't quite gotten around to it. Well, I'm officially inviting you, Frog says, grabbing her hand anew. I am urging, beseeching, compelling you. Come to the Well tonight and bring all, or at least most, of your current gal pals. While I appreciate good-looking dames in general, I especially prefer those with style, money, and a well-developed sense of humor. How was your poli-sci test? Tris asks. I already told you. Oh, right. So, Kathy, I'm counting on you. No pressure, you understand. Just bring me some cute dames with style, money, and a sense of humor, preferably unattached. And, of course, we want them all to be easy to talk to. You'll do it? Oh, bless you, gracious one. You'll be neither sorry nor embarrassed. I assure you, just tell them Mr. Heartthrob is singing, and the old frogster will personally take care of everything else that isn't nailed down. So, Francis, old pal, Tris says, how did you do on your test? Oh, I get it, Frog replies indignantly. I'm supposed to say sayonara? Arrivederci, shalom, and auf Wiedersehen, abiento, hasty lumbago, as in, I beat a hasty retreat and don't come back again. And this after everything I'd done for him. The man is just so temperamental, my good woman. But I suppose his singing and guitar picking almost make up for it. Almost, Triss says, standing up. We're off to see Harvey. Oh, yes, tell the old crab I said hi, Frog says. And don't make a spectacle of yourself, and don't you dare be late for the show. And Kathy, remember, the Frogster's counting on you. As they walk out, hand in hand, she asks, is he always this hyper? Triss nods. I'm just hoping one day he'll outgrow it. Want to see my humble abode? Where do you live? Just a couple blocks away. Apartment? No. It's more what you'd call a mobile home. You mean a trailer. You'll see. They pass a large church with stained glass windows, a fancy steeple, and a big parking lot. Here she is. He opens the folding passenger door of the big blue Wonder Bread truck. Stepping inside, she sees a gas stove, small refrigerator, plastic sink, a folding table, and slightly worn padded seats, 2 in front and 2 in back. Toward the rear are about 20 large cartons, neatly stacked, a cardboard dresser, a closet, storage racks, tools, coats on hangers, and a small cupboard filled with dishes and canned food items. A tiny mouse is running on a wheel in a small cage, closely observed by a calico kitten who hops on Kathy's lap when she sits down next to the driver. She gabs about her family as they drive up to the nursing home. He promises fun as they walk to room 108, past several souls who languish in wheelchairs, silent or moaning, their arms and legs going every which way. Harvey, Triss says, how are you? The black man with the large, gnarled hands scowls from his primitive wheelchair. Well, Jiminy Christmas, man, does anyone really give a rip? How the hell do you think I am, man? Stuck here in this lousy, godforsaken hellhole with all these zombies and corpses? Who'd you bring with you, son? Oh, this is Kathy. Kathy, Corporal Harvey Kendrick. Kathy what? Harvey asks. Solomon, she says. Italian? My father is. My mother's Irish. Catholic girl, eh? Yes, sir. What about you? Me? I sure as hell ain't no Catholic girl. He laughs at his own joke. Married one once. Big mistake. Kept ratting me out to her priest. Had to let her go. You got any smokes, sister? I don't smoke. Don't drink. Don't smoke. Don't dance. Don't do anything that's fun, do you? Kathy goes to Lions, Triss says. Oh, I see. One of them collegiate girls. Studying for her MRS. Well, isn't that great? What's your major, honey? Sociology. Well, isn't that just what the world needs? More social workers? To make sure my misery is documented. Yeah, 'cause if it ain't wrote down, sister, well, you know it didn't happen. He puts a finger on Triss's arm. So, how's about song, kiddo? Oh, great, Triss says. Just what the world needs. More guitar pickers. Harvey shrugs. You know, I don't mean to be grouchy with you, son. It's just this place. It does this to me sometimes, you know? I see, Triss says. Yeah, man. Sure you do. Anyway, kid, I did hear a rip snorter yesterday. Want to hear it? Suppose we don't? Triss says. Oh, you'll love this. Man, he goes to the doctor, right? Doc, I can't stop stuttering. You've come to the right man, the doc says. Why, I used to have the exact same problem. Then I made love to my wife every day for 2 weeks, and I haven't stuttered since. So, 2 weeks later, the man returns. Doc, it didn't work. But your wife is very nice. They all laugh until Harvey coughs so hard he can barely breathe. Where'd you hear that one? Kathy asks. One of the nurses. Oh, she's got some good ones. Yes, sir. Now, I've done my part, so how about you whip out the old git fiddle, son, and play something. Something soft, so's me and the little lady here can dance. Sure, Harv. How about a sparkling rendition of You Flushed Me Down the Toilet of Your Heart? Hank Williams? It's his cousin, Charlie Commode. He lifts his guitar from his case and launches into a series of jazzy chords. He begins to sing. When you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring on the rain. Stop your sighing, be happy again. Keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. The second time through, Harvey sings with him. Then Trish plays Who's Sorry Now, finishing with a spectacular cascade of notes. Harvey shakes his head in awe. I swear, son, you belong on Ed Sullivan. A man in a blue uniform comes in. That was really great, man. He hands Harvey 3 pills and a glass of water and whispers to Kathy, we couldn't even get one little smile out of him all week. Harvey asks Tris to play Amazing Grace. He knows all the verses. Several other residents gather in their wheelchairs just outside the door. Let's take Harv for a ride, Tris whispers. Kathy steps behind his chair. They head out the door, followed by a company of 10. In a lounge area, Tris plays an upbeat version of Leaning on the Everlasting Arms on the piano. The residents are clapping and stomping. Hey, everybody, want to learn a song? Tris asks. We're going to divide into 3 groups, okay? Everyone on this side, you're with me. Everyone on this side, you're with Harvey. And everyone in the middle, you're with Kathy. Okay, Harvey's gang, here's your part. 1 bottle of pop, 2 bottle of pop, 3 bottle of pop, 4 bottle of pop, 5 bottle of pop, 6 bottle of pop, 7 bottle of pop. All right, let's hear it.
1 bottle of pop, 2 bottle of pop, 3 bottle of pop, 4 bottle of pop, 5 bottle of pop, 6 bottle of pop, 7 bottle of pop.
Good job. Kathy's gang, are you ready? Yoo-hoo! Kathy's gang, are we ready? Now they respond, led by Kathy. Ready! All right, here it is. Fish and chips and vinegar, vinegar, vinegar. Fish and chips and vinegar, pepper, pepper, pepper pot. I'll repeat that. Fish and chips and vinegar, vinegar, vinegar. Fish and chips and vinegar, pepper, pepper, pepper pot. Ready now, begin. And they sing.
Fish and chips and vinegar, vinegar, vinegar. Fish and chips and vinegar, pepper, pepper, pepper pot.
Outstanding, Tris says. Give yourselves a hand. They clap and smile. Now, one more chorus. My gang. It's gonna be great. Deep breath, everyone. Exhale. Ready? Yes. All right, here's our part. Don't chuck your muck in my backyard, my backyard, my backyard. Don't chuck your muck in my backyard's full. He repeats it once. Ready? Begin.
Don't chuck your muck in my backyard, my backyard, my backyard. Don't chuck your muck in my backyard's full.
That was breathtaking. Now we're all going to sing it together. First, Harvey's gang. Tris leads them through another round of 1 bottle of pop, 2 bottle of pop. Excellent. Now, While they repeat 1 bottle of pop, 2 bottle of pop, Kathy's gang, here's your cue. Now you come in and sing fish and chips and vinegar, vinegar, vinegar. My gang, you come in right after pepper, pepper, pepper pot. Don't chuck your muck in my backyard, my backyard, my backyard. They sing with gusto. 27 residents, 4 attendants, and a nurse. There are smiles all around, cheers and clapping. Tris smiles back at them. He starts a new song. I've got 6 pence, jolly, jolly 6 pence. I've got 6 pence to last me all my life. Kathy is astounded at the buzz. They seem so lifeless. Look at them now. They're singing, laughing, clapping, and shouting. This is unreal. We've got to run, Tris says. But before we go, one more time, Harvey, lead the way. Harvey begins. 1 bottle of pop, 2 bottle of pop. Everyone is belting out their part. Tris and Kathy wave and blow kisses as they slowly walk away. The director stops them. I wish we could bottle this, she says, 'cause it's magical, and I know the Lord's gonna bless you for this. Thank you, Tris says. Come back soon, okay? I'll stop back next Sunday afternoon, okay, Mrs. Gilmore? And be sure to let Harvey know. I will, Tris. But please, don't be so formal. I'm not that old. Am I? Just call me Debbie. Okay, Debbie. Give my love to your mom. You know we're praying for your dad, and God's gonna work a miracle. We still believe in them. You watch and see. So long, Kathy, and thank you for coming too. Tris starts the truck. Did you have fun? That was amazing. Is your father sick? He nods his head slowly. He has brain damage, Kathy. The day we buried Kenny coming back, a deer ran onto the road. It was icy. The car skidded and hit a tree. He took a deep breath. Pop's head hit the steering wheel and it broke. I'm sorry. He's in a nursing home. My mom's there most of the time. Mrs. Gilmore used to be the administrator there, and that's how Harvey got a bed here after they kicked him out of the one in Silersville. He got kicked out for smoking. He started a fire. Over lunch, Kathy tells Tris about growing up as an only child in Kyberstown, 30 miles north of Pittsburgh, about her family and her best friend Ginny Rizzitano, and about Ginny's brother Dennis serving in Vietnam. She asks if he ever went to college. This would have been my junior year. I've been on a leave of absence since the end of March. I might start up again, but at this point I really don't know. They sit outside her dorm playing with the kitten and the mouse. He says he's going up to Silersville and offers to pick her up later. She says she'll meet him there. I'll probably bring a friend or two, she says. I'm sure Frog will appreciate that greatly, he says, as he gently embraces this lovely creature.